Welcome. My name is Alina Rivilis, and today I'm going to be speaking to you about how to deliver business success with AI and presenting you some lessons from a data scientist. Just to introduce myself, I'm an AVP at IGM Financial, and I'm leading a small and bright data science team working on various applications, primarily with machine learning. We are analyzing interesting business problems, delivering value to the company, where I have been for the past 2 years. Prior to IGM, I worked at Canadian Tire, managing a team of data scientists responsible for the Triangle loyalty program analytics. I've also spent now, I would say I've been working with data science. My career is now something like 20 years actually, where I have worked across multiple industries and worked on various high-profile projects and applications, from government, healthcare, to insurance, banking, finance, retail, and now with IGM. So today I'm going to be speaking to you about what are those key lessons that one needs to consider when we are interested in using machine learning AI to generate business value. So it's important first to define what is AI? What does it mean to you in the context of your business? What we can do with it? And how to drive success, how to achieve this. There's still some confusion out there about what it is. And it's important to have a clear business problem to solve. And it's also very important to make sure that the business agrees to your solution. And there is even a problem that needs to be solving. No matter how good your algorithm is, it's about the business application. And data science is actually all about driving value to the business. And it's something that AI, something that you hear, there's lots of buzzwords around. There's many vendors, lots of solutions out there, many companies talking about it. You're going to hear about AI in different contexts, and there's lots of hype out there. But it needs to be separated from the business outcome. Essentially, the business may not be interested in learning that you ran an XGBoost algorithm or you were doing a neural net. They might be interested in a certain score, and they would actually want to know how to use it. And AI is transformational in nature. You might find some resistance in your company, and you might need to go through this change management and adoption across all levels of the company. And it's also something that's ongoingly needs to be monitored and improved. It needs to learn. Machine learning implies learning, and as a successful AI solution requires learning. You need to be adaptive to the business situation, to market changes. For example, the situation with COVID-19. I'm sure many of you went back and reevaluated your existing or potential solutions. So let's start with figuring out what is AI and what is actually does it mean for your business. It's actually this big umbrella that in it you find machine learning. Often those terms are confused. And typically, if you have a chat with your CEO or a manager in the company, or any individual in the company, they might actually confuse all of these terms. What's big data? What's data science? Does data science automatically mean AI or big data? Machine learning or deep learning? Deep learning is a subset of machine learning. That's when we run neural nets. That's a type of deep learning. And machine learning, my team leverages, I would say, most of the time. My team actually tends to be in this machine learning space where we use algorithms to produce a new score. It might be about the customer, it could be on the product level, an advisor level, but we use machine learning to predict some sort of behavior or some sort of action. And natural language processing, Also, something that we might leverage. In my particular industry, we don't have that many applications when it comes to image or vision processing. Um, Speech, that's an interesting one. But when you talk to different individuals in the business, it's actually very important to understand what it is and what it means to you and what you're going to be solving for, right? So this is a book that I find quite useful and very interesting by Ajay Agrawal. It's a book titled Prediction Machines. And in this book, you find framework that I would say actually works quite well. It helps us understand how data science can create business value. And what it is actually we use data science AI to take data that we do have with input from the business about what it is that we are trying to achieve, some human judgment as well. And we take data basically that we have got and we produce predictions. So we generate new data that we do not have. It might be a score, it might be probability a customer is going to churn or a customer is going to purchase a product, or it might be probability of an event occurring depending on the interest. So data that we have to predict data that we do not have. And then the business, that's the key part, is going to take action based on this new prediction, based on this new data that we generated. And how successful this is, that's key to a successful business outcome. There always needs to be a feedback loop as well to continuously improve on the predictions and the actions and the outcomes and to optimize all of this. So here I would like to show you a few use cases across different areas of business. There are applications of machine learning AI in marketing, sales. I find there's lots of applications there that are interesting. You would find engaged business partners interested in figuring out things such as churn of customers or potential purchasing behavior. In IT, there's I remember I had a project looking at failure of parts in a cell phone. That's something also that was using machine learning to improve on operations, fraud detection, very popular one. So the key is to recognize the business problem and see how machine learning and AI can actually help you solution for it. How do you connect it? Um, I find that this particular framework is actually very useful for achieving success. It's not just important to identify, so, okay, I want to solve, for example, for customer churn, or I want to increase sales. It's actually very, very important beyond the model that you're going to use is to have the engaged business partner, to have an engaged business lead and clearly identify the business opportunity. There needs to be a lot of communication going back and forth. And then, yes, you will apply your analytical capabilities, either in-house or outsourced. The business would care about the actual outcome and the solution. And it's up to you to optimize how that would work. And you always need data. Without good quality data, you're not going to be able to produce a good quality outcome. So for data-driven action, you're not going to be able to get far if you are missing one of the elements in this equation. Here's a hypothetical example I would like to present to you. Assume you have got customers and product, and you're trying to match the right product to the right customer. And if you've got, let's say, 30,000 customers, you might have 30 million customers, but let's say 30,000 customers, and you have got 60 products. And from these 60 products, you're trying to suggest the best 5 products. So the combinations, trying to test it all out and to talk to your 30,000 customers about 5 out of 60 products, you're talking something like 5 million combinations, which is very big. You cannot test it out, it's too much. And then if you say, well, maybe I need to pick up the phone and spend 30 minutes with every customer, then that roughly translates into 5 years, which is a bit much. However, we can leverage data science, we can leverage machine learning and AI to improve on this business problem. We can identify certain individuals that might like certain products. For example, this guy I'm highlighting has got affinity for a new product, and another individual might be interested in more balanced solutions. And other individuals may not be ready for a new product right now. They are satisfied with what they have got. And honestly, if you start talking to them about more products, they just might unsubscribe. They might not be that interested. Um, but with machine learning, it's possible to take the actual data, the transactional data, the online data, the e-com data, and optimize it and see which products would work best for which customers at the right point in time. So with AI, we are able to produce the best product recommendations. And I'm sure you have seen it. You have seen Netflix suggest the right movie for you, and you are thinking to yourself, yeah, that was a good recommendation. Or on Amazon, well, customers like you have been purchasing these products, and maybe you should also consider these other products. Um, and it does work. It does work for optimal customer experience. And when you also look at a project, you might have more than one to solution. You might have different business units saying, well, I would like to solve many problems, and you only have so many resources available to you. How do you balance it out? Where do you start? Do you start with customer churn, or do you get a product recommendation? There tends to be a certain progression naturally. If you are starting up your AI and data science function, you would start to understand, if you are dealing with products and customers, you would start by understanding how does the customer and product move, how they interact, what other factors are there. You would start to get into that. But it's also important to identify and select the best use cases for the best value. And I find that whenever I'm faced with a new project, I try to ballpark place it in this type of matrix. I actually think about it. What is the value that this particular project is going to generate? And there's different types of value. There's monetary value, such as ROI, sales. Is this going to increase sales? Perhaps strategic, perhaps customer experience, or operational efficiency. It's possible to increase operational efficiency, and it's possible to drive that up, which or customer loyalty. Perhaps the value is, I'm going to achieve higher loyalty, satisfaction for a better user experience. Against complexity, you need to weigh it against the complexity. Do we have the right technology to do this? Do we have the right data to do this? And is it possible? Let's say we solution everything and everything is fine, yet we are not able to integrate it into our systems. And I have seen it in companies. I have seen models and successful projects not not as successful, because then they could not integrate back into the business well, and they could not integrate well with the technology that was available. So challenges. I have summarized for you here the 10 factors that I feel, based on my experience and based on research out there, and based on what I have seen. What factors do you need for success? Communication is important. I find that working with across many industries and projects, communication is actually something very important. If you don't continuously talk to the business and make sure that the solution still makes sense, you're not going to get too far. In light of COVID example, COVID-19, I'm sure many of you went back to the business and said, let's reevaluate all the models we have got. My team went back and reevaluated each and every single model. We actually had discussions. I had discussions with many individuals to understand, does it still make sense? Does it still work? Lots of us are now working at home. Are the patterns still there? As are the customers? I mean, perhaps if you're in retail, the customers are not going to the store anymore. Business have shifted online. And if you created a model that's just looking at behavior in store and not capturing your online behavior as much, then the model may not be doing as good of a job anymore. Data, it's important to have good quality data to support all of this. Cost, obviously, a concern. And it's always important to monitor the usage of the actual model. Is the business using the action or the suggestion from the model? If the model recommends, let's go talk to this customer because they look like someone who might be interested in this set of products. And if the model is you think as a data scientist, it's you think, oh wait, yeah, it's doing something very smart, yet the business is not leveraging, then there is no business value there. Here, I actually ran out of space on this slide. It's a huge slide. This is a slide that I was trying to capture all the various vendors in this space, all the various companies that exist that are offering data science solutions. I have to be honest with you. I'm sure that you always also receive, just like myself, I would say about one email a week, perhaps more, about a company soliciting you for data science projects, engagements, trying to increase sales, trying to increase their business essentially. And don't get me wrong, there's lots of talent out there. There's many good companies with excellent, outstanding solutions. It's important to separate it out from all the noise and all the hype that's going on and figure out the right partner for your solution. It might make sense for you, it might not. I worked in some companies where I have seen data science insourced, and that made more sense. I have also seen some hybrid models with in-house as well as outsourcing through contracts. Also worked extremely well. And the landscape is actually very big. So it's important to focus on the right partner. And these are some that I have highlighted, proven business partners with the proven outcomes. There's lots of other companies out there. However, I selected a few to showcase some that we have aligned at IGM and some that I have worked with in the past. And these are the few that are have proven to be very successful. And it helps to augment the capabilities with successful business partners in this space. So bringing you back to this slide that you have seen earlier, this framework of having these 4 pillars: the business lead, the business opportunity, the data, and then your AI capability. Having all of this is a good framework. However, you should never underestimate the change management and the adoption of new technology or a new process that might happen. You should never underestimate resistance to change. Humans are going to be skeptical. If you say, I have got an amazing AI solution, humans or the individuals in your company might respond well to it, perhaps not so much, until proven otherwise, that it actually does work. And one way to go about proving that something works is you can have data. You can say, well, I'm using data, let's say historical data, and I have scored it with my model, and I can use data to prove that if this model were to be, let's say, running in existence, then we could have produced a certain outcome. And pilot testing. Pilot testing is something that's really great. It's possible to take, let's say, a portion of your customers, your customer base, let's say A/B testing with emails. You have seen it done, right? Very nice. And then you try it out, and then you go back and you reevaluate. You compute the ROI on your test, and you see, did it actually work? So it's not good enough to be successful with the best or the most amazing algorithm out there until the business accepts your solution and see the actual value in all of this. Honestly, from my experience, from what I'm seeing, is that many business leaders, they are not going to be asking you, well, did you run a decision tree, or did you run a logistic regression model? They're going to say, did you generate value? Well, how valuable was it, this particular model? And this feedback loop is actually very important to establish. Once you have got a solution deployed in the business, it's very important to establish this continuous feedback loop, so the model, and not just the model, that the business learns and changes, adapts to the solution and the way that they're using it for business outcomes, for optimal business results, and to achieve scale. To sustain a new solution, you need business engagement, and it's not about deploying and then forgetting about it. You cannot forget about it. You need to continuously improve and reevaluate. Something may no longer be required. It may need improvement, or it may need to be replaced with something new and amazing. So I hope you found today's presentation useful, interesting, and I hope you learned maybe something new about how you could achieve success to integrate AI and in your business and achieve success. Thank you so much for your time.